We're talking college sports in the Deep South, where college football is king and the battle cry is War Eagle. Once again, it's Case to the GOAT for Vernon Speak Sports. Want to get active in the comment section and kind of let us know how you feel. Also, take advantage of the playlist where you can see some categorized topics of videos that I've already made, because I have quite a few of them in there, so it'll be pretty hard to sift through and go through all the videos. So I've categorized those in the playlist. Now, when we talk about the 2019 season, we have to understand that there's a prospect that there are going to be some games at 12 o'clock, and there's nothing worse. Well, 11 o'clock Central Time, man, that's super early. All right, so there's nothing worse than, say, going on Facebook or any other kind of media outlet and finding out that your team is going to be playing at 12 o'clock, at least for me. Because when you talk about tailgating, you talk about, let's say if you do go down to Auburn for the game, wherever you're traveling from, you got to make sure you get there super early. If you got kids, you got to drag them out of the bed for an 11 o'clock kickoff. So you're talking about waking up, say, depending on how quick you can get things going, you're talking about waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and it just sets the tone for a very, very long, drawn out day. And it's really tough for everybody involved, including obviously the athletic department that has to, get all of these moving parts. The people who are going to be covering the game. It's just you're compiling just a lot of activity all in one very short period of time. So it's just an inconvenience for me. That's why I hate seeing it. Now, usually you can pretty much predict when your team is going to be, a 12 o'clock game. Either you're playing against a team that's not necessarily having a good season, and then the TV networks has to schedule these games based on what's probably going to bring the most ratings. Okay, so if you got Alabama playing against Georgia, Tennessee playing against Florida, and Auburn, say, playing against a Mississippi State team that already has 3 losses, chances are you're going to either be on the 12 o'clock list or you're going to be on the SEC alternative list. That's just how this thing rolls. So you just better hope that your team has been winning. Now, looking at the 2019 schedule, I think Kent State is probably going to either Kent State or Tulane are probably going to wind up as 12 o'clock games. And then you got some kind of slump team in the SEC probably in October, where Auburn might wind up playing about, I'm hoping not, but no more than 2 12 o'clock games this year for the Auburn Tigers. Now, over the past 3 years, since 2015, Auburn has played in 12 o'clock games over that period of time. The first of which, Jacksonville State, was just, it was just really agonizing to watch a game at 12 o'clock, a game that Auburn should blow this team out, struggling, and next thing you know, Auburn dragged Jacksonville State into overtime, because as a matter of fact, Jacksonville State should have actually won that game outright, okay? Then you look at the game against Arkansas with the multiple overtimes where Auburn lost that game 54-46, and then losing to Georgia. That's one thing I hate about these 12 o'clock games, is when it's an SEC game or SEC rival game like Georgia. So that year, Auburn was actually 1-2 in the 12 o'clock games. And next year, beating Mississippi State and Vanderbilt. When you, like I said, you roll the dice when you're playing SEC games during this time. Okay. Then you go into 2017, because when you really look at it, Auburn's record in these games is not that bad. Beating Ole Miss that year 44-23, Texas A&M 42-27, and of course the Louisiana Monroe 42-14, but losing to UCF in the Peach Bowl 34-27, just not prepared. Okay. Then you ease over into the 2018 season, where Auburn played 3 straight SEC games during the middle of the stretch at 12 o'clock or 11 o'clock if you're back on Central Time. Not playing particularly well, but beating Ole Miss 31-16. Didn't play well at all until the last 5 minutes of the Texas A&M game, winning that game 28-24. And of course, arguably the worst SEC loss in recent history to Tennessee 30-24. So as we go into this 2019 season, 12 o'clock games haven't particularly been, awful for Auburn. They don't play as well as they do at night. Because I'll go out on a limb and say if Auburn would have competed against Tennessee at night, I think Auburn runs straight through them. Just run straight through them. 30-0, maybe 30-14, because the defense was not playing particularly well, especially against the run during this stretch. But like I said before, 12 o'clock games are not particularly bad for Auburn, but it's just an inconvenience. When you're an SEC football fan, you want that game to either be the irritating Gary Danielson CBS game, or you want that thing to be primetime ESPN. You have all day to set up your tailgate, to barbecue, to get your chicken wings going, to get your Rotel dip going. You probably halfway through the keg by then. That's what we're talking about. That's why we don't like 12 o'clock games. Comment on this video about how you feel about 12 o'clock games, YouTubers, and also comment, any other topic that you are interested in Auburn-wise. I try to come at this thing every single day. War Damn Eagle. Subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn.